Convention on the Rights of the Child, adopted by General Assembly Resolution 4425 of November 20, 1989. The preamble. The states parties to this convention, considering that, in accordance with the principles proclaimed in the Charter of the United Nations, recognition of the inherent dignity, equal and inalienable rights of all members of society are the basis for ensuring freedom, justice and peace on earth. Whereas the peoples of the United Nations have reaffirmed in the Charter their faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, and are determined to promote social progress and better living conditions in larger freedom. Recognizing that the United Nations, in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and in the International Covenants on Human Rights, has proclaimed and agreed that everyone should have all the rights and freedoms set forth therein, without distinction of any kind on grounds such as race, skin color, sex, language, religion, political or other beliefs, national or social origin, property status, birth or other circumstances. Recalling that the United Nations, in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, proclaimed that children have the right to special care and assistance. Convinced that the family, as the basic unit of society and the natural environment for the growth and well-being of all its members and especially children, should be provided with the necessary protection and assistance so that it can fully to assume responsibilities within society. Recognizing that for a child to fully and harmoniously develop his personality, it is necessary to grow up in a family environment, in an atmosphere of happiness, love and understanding. Considering that the child should be fully prepared for independent life in society and brought up in the spirit of the ideals proclaimed in the Charter of the United Nations, and especially in the spirit of peace, dignity, tolerance, freedom, equality and solidarity. Whereas the need for such special protection of the child was provided for in the Geneva Declaration of the Rights of the Child of 1924 and the Declaration of the Rights of the Child adopted by the General Assembly on 20 November 1959 and recognized in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, in particular, Articles 23 and 24, in the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, in particular, in Article 10.3, as well as in the charters and relevant documents of specialized agencies and international organizations. Taking into account that, as stated in the Declaration of the Rights of the Child, due to his physical and mental immaturity, needs special protection and care, including appropriate legal protection, both before and after birth. Recalling the provisions of the Declaration on Social and Legal Principles concerning the protection and well-being of children, especially in the placement and adoption of children at the national and international levels, the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules on the Administration of Juvenile Justice, Beijing Rules, and the Declaration on the Protection of Women and Children in Emergencies and During Armed Conflicts. Recognizing that there are children living in extremely difficult conditions in all countries of the world and that such children need special attention, taking due account of the importance of traditions and cultural values of each people for the protection and harmonious development of the child. Recognizing the importance of international cooperation to improve the living conditions of children in each country, in particular in developing countries, agreed on the following.